Okay, so try that first word. Reise. Everybody know what that is? Travel or trip. So reisen is the verb to travel, which you had in your past tense. It's a nice normal verb, so you don't have to worry about conjugating it up. Try that next word. Reiseauskunft. Okay. First part, Reise, is travel. Second part, this Auskunft, is another word for information. Do you know the other word for information? Information, yeah. Okay, so sometimes you'll see Reiseinformation, sometimes you'll see Reiseauskunft. Okay. Right. I'm going to put a word up. Some of these, like we said, come out of the actuelle section, so we'll see if you recognize them. Right, Ethan? All right. All right. Okay, so this might be Captain Obvious here, but just to make sure, how would you say smoker then? Or smoking? Raucher. Yeah. So one major thing of note is since this textbook was written, they have changed the law. You're no longer allowed to smoke in trains. So they're all non-smoking in the past 5 years. Okay, so it's a pretty major difference there. Okay. All right, next one. Try that word, Gleis. Yeah.
So in the textbook it said like that the modern.
Anybody remember what Gleis meant? Track or platform. Okay. The other word that you encountered in your notes that meant the same thing? Bahnsteig. Okay. Everybody try that one. Bahnsteig.
Bahnsteig.
Okay. Do you remember what Steig means or where it comes from? Steigen? Huh? You had a bunch of verbs. You had aussteigen, umsteigen, einsteigen. So check your notes. What does steigen mean?
To board.
Yeah, so einsteigen is to board, umsteigen to transfer, and aussteigen to deboard. Yeah? So we talked about it was to climb out or to climb around. So steigen is kind of like climbing. So Bahn is another word for train. We talked about that the other day. So you're climbing onto a train. Where you do that is at a platform or a track. The Germans are very practical. Praktisch. All right, moving on. There we go, next one. So, here we go. Everybody try that one. Schlafwagen.
Schlafwagen.
What is that one? Sleeping car. Yeah. So.
The sleeping wagon.
That's what it's called, a sleeping wagon?
Well, it's what it literally means, but Wagen is another word for car as well. Okay. So there was this one and there was another one.
The light.
The couch.
Yeah. Good. Great. So everybody try that one. Liegewagen.
Liegewagen.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the couchette. And I'm going to explain the difference here in a second. This is a couchette car. So they're both for overnight trains. You will not see them unless it's an overnight train. Okay. Does everybody understand the concept of an overnight train?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you go overnight. So it's kind of like a red eye as far as an airplane. Okay. Now, you can get a Couchette car ticket, or you can get a Schlafwagen. Okay, so in both cases, you would eventually have the ability to lie down. Okay, I'll show you some pictures of these in a little bit. But a Couchette car, think of it more as a futon. So you have a seat and kind of like folds down a little bit or reclines a little bit more than a regular chair. Okay, so it's not a full-on bed, but it's similar. Okay, so those are going to be less expensive. If you get a Schlafwagen ticket, then you would be in a room either by yourself, if you pay more for that, or up to, I think they have up to 6 people in a compartment, and then it's bunk bed style traditionally. And you have a bed. Now the bed may fold down from the wall, so when it's not a time frame in which you would be sleeping, it would just be folded up against the wall, and then when you're ready to go to bed, the upper bunks then fold down and lock into place so that you can move around in the compartment while you're awake without hitting your head all the time, and then you climb into your bunk from there.
Have you ever, like, been in one?
I have not. No, never needed to. A lot of people choose to use them, though, on when they're going, like on backpacking around Europe or whatever. Because if you think about it, you're paying for a plane ticket or paying for a train ticket anyway, and then instead of having to pay for a hotel that night, you're including that into your costs. So you're making the transit as well as sleeping. So you're getting both in at the same time. Are you going to sleep as well? Probably not.
Wait,
Okay.
what did you say about a backpack?
People backpack around Europe. So
What's that? Like travel?
okay, next one. All right, try that one. Platzkarte. Okay. Do you know what the word Karte means?
Ticket.
It means both. In this case, we're talking about traveling. It means ticket, so it's not going to mean card. Okay. So it is a ticket. What does Platz mean?
Place.
Place. It's also used for, like a seat or something like that. So you could use it for that. So it's literally a ticket for a seat or a place.
Fees for anything?
No, it's a reservation. So it gives you your seat assignment. Okay, I'll show you a couple examples of those types of things too. I do have a PowerPoint actually.
Is it the same one as like the last PowerPoint you did, where it's all in German and you're speaking the whole time in German?
With the pillars.
That one was fun.
The Pillars der Litfaßsäulen.
Oh, and the
Yeah, we'll
bathroom
do it in
wash
German and then we'll
yourself.
make sure you understand it, so don't worry about it. Okay,
Oh, the mirror.
next one. How do you say that word? Abteil. Anybody know what that one was?
First class.
No.
No, it was not. I was like,
Compartment. So, easiest way to describe this is if you have ever seen Harry Potter, they always have those little compartments.
oh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so it's a little room, and you usually have five to six seats in it. Okay, might be one big bench on each side, or it might be individual seats, but it's a compartment. So, little section with the door. Okay?
Oh, like in the first Harry Potter with like using that little train?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What? Oh, yeah.
They have to go through Gleis 9 3/4. Ah, platform 9 3/4. Get it?
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Okay, here we go. Moving on. Okay, the next one, Speisewagen. This is a restaurant car. Okay, I've never actually seen the word restaurant car in German on a thing. It's always called a Speisewagen. Okay, so this is the restaurant car.
Lit under every day.
Now, there's two kinds of meal options on trains. Okay, first of all, the ICE. That's the super fast train. Okay, Intercity Express, and it's called the ICE. It looks like ice. Okay, in the ICE, you're going to find a Speisewagen. Okay, so in the longer distance, okay, so they are more between the big cities. Okay, so you can't take it from little city to little city. They don't make as many stops. They go faster, like 200 kilometers an hour, that kind of thing. So they go fast. They will have a full-on restaurant in the car. So you'd be able to get like schnitzel and stuff like that. Okay, it's obviously a little bit more expensive, but you can have a sit-down meal, and whatever else. And the other types of trains, also in the ICE, sometimes they will have the little cart that comes around with coffee or whatever. Okay, not as common.
Lit.
Okay? So, yes, just like the Hogwarts Express. Okay? Polar Express, yes, like Polar Express as well. In other trains, guys,
I've never seen a Polar Express.
in other trains like the ITSE, so the intercity or things like that, the smaller trains that still go between bigger cities and don't make a bunch of stops, so they're not regional trains. Regional trains are super slow, stop every like 5 minutes. Okay? So the ones that go a little bit longer in between, they'll have like an imbus. Does anybody know what an imbus is? Snack bar. It's a snack stand. So you'll be able to get some snacky type foods. So like
I was
pretzels.
thinking the broomstick of Harry Potter. That's what I was
Okay,
thinking.
guys, come on. So a snack type food. So you won't be able to get schnitzel and things like that, but you'll be able to get, sometimes candy, sometimes ice cream, some pretzels, things like that, as well as beverages. Yasmin.
A very common snack that they sell on those. I don't know if you've had them, but they're like the pretzels with the cheese and ham or bacon pieces with all of
Sounds
Mhm.
lit.
Yep, they make sandwiches out of pretzels as the bread, which is kind of...
Wait, sandwiches on pretzels?
Yeah, so they take the pretzel and they slice it in half, because German pretzels are thicker, so you're able to do that and turn it into a sandwich that way.
Oh, not the crunchy ones, like the actual like soft ones, like the
Not the crunchy ones, no. You can't slice a crunchy pretzel in half. Ooh, all right.
I might have to come to y'all country.
Guys, come on. All right, moving on. How do you say this? Zweite Klasse. Everybody, zweite Klasse. What does that mean? Second class. Now, you could also see it written as this. Might be abbreviated as KL. I might have the full thing written out. Okay, but the period after the number is how you say the ST or the ND or the RD. So it's second class. So that's the ND. You don't have to worry about writing it out when you do it that way in German. Okay, so it's zweite Klasse. Okay. Okay, so what is erste Klasse then? First class. Okay, so then it would look like this. Remember, their ones are different. Okay.
You said the ones are different?
Does that look like how you write your ones?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I run.
So, odds are good. If you're traveling by train, you're going second class. First class is fairly empty, usually.
How come is this expensive?
Well, it's more expensive, okay. But second class is usually, in the regional trains, they won't usually even have a first class. But the intercity express, for example, this area is nice enough, the seats are nice enough, the options are nice enough. It's nicer than traveling by airplane. So, and first class is usually just quieter, maybe different material on the seats, but for the most part, it's the same as second class. So, just fewer people there.
For nothing.
You're paying extra for quiet.
For just quiet.
So for some people,
They don't want to hear screaming.
ideal, okay? For other people, you're like, I would love to have the quiet of first class. Okay? But for other people, second class is fine. Okay? All right, moving on to some phrases. I'm going to explain this one fully and why there's underlines and different colors and all that stuff. Okay. So you would choose from that underline section one of those. What do you think the difference between dir, euch, and ihnen is? Yeah, they're the different forms of you. Okay? You're wishing them something. So wünschen. That was one of your past tense verbs. Right? It was the very last one. Right? So you're wishing them something. What are you wishing them? A nice trip. Yeah, like have a good trip. Okay? So this whole phrase is I wish, and then when would you use dear? Well, in all cases you're talking directly to them because they're all form of you. But which you is it? Singular. One person that you know. Okay? It's regular do form. Gesundheit, Schönheit. Okay? When would you use euch? More than one that you know. So if I was talking to you guys, I'd wish you all a good trip. What about Ihnen?
If you're talking to someone who's like,
Formal.
yeah.
Okay? Doesn't matter if it's one person or 500. Okay? So you pick one. Okay? So ich wünsche dir eine schöne Reise. Ich wünsche euch eine schöne Reise. Ich wünsche Ihnen eine schöne Reise. Okay? So I wish you a nice trip. Now, most of the time, people abbreviate that whole concept. And they just say, schöne Reise. So that whole thing can be abbreviated just into those two words. And it still means, have a nice trip. Okay? Just like when I wish you guys a good weekend on Fridays, I say, schönes Wochenende. And it's not that I'm just saying, nice weekend. It's implying, I hope you have a nice weekend. Okay? Nice weekend. Okay? Does that make sense, the concept? So you could just say the two words in blue and be done, or the full thought out phrase is, ich wünsche, insert, eine schöne Reise. Okay?
Oh yeah, so what you doing for spring break? I'm trying to go to Myrtle Beach.
All right.
Lit. Where's that?
Here we go.
Carolina. So the light skin is gonna come by dark skin.
All right. Everybody try that one. Was magst du auf dem See?
Was machst du auf dem See?
Okay. What does the was magst du mean? What are you doing? Okay. So what are you doing? What are you doing? And then on the lake or sea. Sometimes it means sea. In our world, we usually go with lake. Okay? It does literally mean on it, so that would imply that you were in a boat or something like that. Okay? You're not in it, you're not along the sides of it. The auf means you're on top of it. Okay?
What are you doing here? Just casual. My daily walk.
Alright, try that one. Ich gehe an den See.
Ich gehe an den See.
What do you think that means? Not going on the lake, but going to the lake.
Wait, each get what?
An den See.
Oh, my fault.
Okay? Now, when you are talking about bodies of water, so lake, sea, ocean, river, whatever it might be, instead of the regular zu or whatever that you would use for to, they use an. So that is a major difference. Okay? Be aware of that difference. Okay? So an den See sounds like on the lake or on the sea. But that's the one that means you're up along next to it or you've gone to it. Okay? Moving on. Okay. How would you ask, how are you all coming to Berlin? What's your first word going to be? Wie. Good. Okay. And then? How are you coming to Berlin? Kommt. And then? Ihr. Good. What about to Berlin? Not zu? I heard somebody. Nach. Nach is your correct one. If you're going to a city, state, or country, nach is what you would use. Okay? Wie kommt ihr nach Berlin? Okay. Next one. Wie sagt man that is? Das ist, yeah? Do you remember the word for to as in T-double-O, like it's too far, too close to whatever. So, And do you remember the word for wide, like it's too wide, from chapter 7? It starts with a W.
Because it's too wide.
Yeah.
It's too wide.
Too loose. Any idea? Remember that word? How do you say that word? Weit. Yeah. Okay, put it all together. Das ist zu weit. Okay. So this time, instead of meaning that it's too loose or it's too wide, it's too far. Everybody try that one. Ist hier noch frei? Any idea what that would mean? Say again?
Is this free or
Is it free? Yeah, but it doesn't mean like cost-wise. It's talking about it being, is that seat still available? Or is that seat available? Mm-hmm. So this or that, either way. Very, very commonly used phrase. So that's a good one to know if you ever travel there. Okay, so ist hier noch frei? All right. Try that one. Hast du es geschafft? What can you tell me about that sentence? Not about meaning, but what's unique about that sentence? It's past tense. Yeah. So you see your helping verb. And here's your GE word. Okay. So it's a past tense question. Okay. Anybody happen to know what schaffen means? It's one of the ones we copied down, I'm pretty sure. No? To manage. No. What that actually means, that sounds funny. So it's not like we're managing a store. Okay? This is asking if you managed to do something. Did you accomplish it? Did you achieve that thing? Whatever. Were you able to do it? Okay? So hast du es geschafft? Okay? Is roughly, in this case, did you make it? Did you manage it? Okay? So, So you could say, did you manage it? What context do you think we're talking about in this instance?
like going somewhere? Like, did you make your flight?
Did you make your flight? Did you make your train? Yeah, something like that. So if it was a close connection, hast du es geschafft? Did you manage it? Did you make it? Do you understand how it would be used? Okay. So if it helps you, so, did you make it? Train connection or something.
For the geschafft one, like let's say if you were to go clean your room and your friend was like, hast du das geschafft? Would that also work? Or?
Yeah, you could use it in that context.
Alright.
Even in the context of somebody saying they have a really hard test and they just want to pass it. You could ask them when they get their score back, hast du es geschafft? Did you manage it? Did you, you know what I mean? So yeah, it can be used in multiple contexts. Good question. Alright, try the next one. Die Fahrkarte. How do you make it plural? Add an N. What do you think it means?
Is that
It's
like
It's a ticket. Yeah, so the Fahrkarte tells you specifically what kind of ticket it is. So this is some sort of mass transit ticket. Okay? But it tells you that it's not a ticket to the movie theater or something like that. So it's just more specific. Okay? So ticket In this case, usually a train. So something that can drive, if that makes sense.
Would you use it for like plane?
Say again?
Would you use it for plane?
Nope, because planes don't fahren. They fliegen. So then you could call it a Flugkarte, like Flugzeug. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright. How would you ask the question, did you buy tickets for a train or bus or whatever? You hast du? Good, yeah, helping verb, because we got past tense. Hast du Fahrkarten? Mm-hmm. Gekauft. Good. Do you know the word for already? Starts with an S. Sound look familiar? Close. Schön is with umlauts. Schon, like the sun shone. Okay. So if you put that schon in there, hast du schon Fahrkarten gekauft? What's that now mean?
Did you buy tickets already?
Yeah, did you buy tickets already, or did you already buy tickets? Mm-hmm. Squeeze this onto here. I just think that looks like a bad emoji. Hey, everybody try that one. Der Fahrplan. What do you think that means? Yeah, I mean it's a schedule. So it's a train schedule. So anything, again, that you could say that that mode of transportation uses fahren as its verb. Is that it? So, in train stations around Germany, you'll always see the same two colored posters. They are everywhere. Okay? For each track or platform, you will find it at least once, usually 2 or more times, depending on how long that particular platform is. So smaller train stations like Rotweil, in a town of about 25,000, 30,000, you're probably only going to see it twice. Okay? But in a town like Berlin, where the trains that come in tend to be longer because they have more people coming in and out of there, you'll find it probably 4 or 5 times. Okay? They're always right next to each other. Smaller towns just have one poster, like Rotweil. Those are actual from their train station posters. Okay? I have a good relationship with the people in Rotweil, so when they expired, they mailed them to me. Okay? So they expire about every 6 months or so. In many places, not much is going to change. You know, like Rotweil, it's not like they're going to be constantly changing the trains up. Okay? But they could. So in Berlin, for example, you'd be talking about probably 3 of those posters just for arrivals, and 3 of those posters just for departures. Okay? But they're posted all over the place so that you can tell exactly where it is that you need to go. Okay? So, if we look at this, I mean, very obviously this is designed for all sorts of travelers, not just German speakers, yes? Because the actual posters do have the German, so Ankunft. So the arrival posters will always, always, always be white. Always. Okay? And then I tell you right there what it means in English anyway. Then you have the town name, in particular the train station name. So places like Munich, you'll have München, and then the continuation of the train station name. There is an abbreviation, HBF, that you will see regularly. In small towns it may not have it, because Hauptbahnhof is what it stands for, and it means main train station. So in places like Munich, they're going to have them for a bunch of different suburbs or, whatever, because Munich is a bigger place. Same thing with like Berlin or Köln or any of the bigger cities. Rotweil has one. That's all Rotweil needs. Okay? It's a cute little one that has like 4 tracks. And that's it. Okay? But if you're talking like Berlin, Berlin's train station is just downright confusing. Okay? It comes in multiple levels. Okay? Bigger train stations will, because they'll have the U-Bahn going through there as well, then they'll have the S-Bahn up above, and they'll have regular trains kind of going in the middle, and it can be very, very daunting if it's your first time doing it. Okay? So you have to figure out, A, am I getting off at the right train station? So I can't tell you how many times, I'll be traveling along and I'll be listening to people talking on the train, and they don't speak enough German to know there's more than one train station for a city like Munich. So then they hear München, next train station, Munich, and then they say the suburb name or something. And they start to get up because they're going into that, or they think they're going in Munich now, and that they can just get off. They don't pay attention to the Hauptbahnhof, the main train station part, which is where most people are going to go, okay, especially tourists. And that's where everything is centered around. Okay? So if they don't speak, like if they're speaking in English and I know what's going on, it's always nice to double check their ticket with them because odds are good they're getting off the wrong place. They just heard Munich, got all excited, and start to, get off the train. You could be a good 30 minutes out yet. That'd be like getting off in Apple Valley when you meant to go to downtown St. Paul. You know what I mean? So it can be a big, big, big difference. So if you ever encounter that, make sure that you are not just listening for the city name. Make sure you get the right train station within that city. Okay? So at the train station then, you will have these posters, and you check them out, and they always have the translations in English, which is nice. So you've got the time. It's always 24-hour time. So they're going to start at the earliest train possible. Usually that's going to be for both arrivals and departures, somewhere in the 4 or 5 o'clock range. Okay? There's not much that runs in the 1 to 3 a.m. sort of time frame. Okay? Rotweil is a small enough town that they've grouped their hours of the day when they're less busy. Okay? This one is just 5 to 6, but that's a kind of more of a major time for people to be getting to work and stuff like that. So it's just a 1 hour or a 2 hour time block. Okay? But most of the time, in the bigger ones especially, it's going to be grouped by singular hour. So it'll be 5 o'clock. Then there'll be another bolded black line with another time. So it's broken down by individual hour. So it makes it faster to find. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So then you can see over here you've got 11 o'clock, and then over here, 24-hour time, we've got 15:39 and whatnot. So that would be 3:39 p.m. With me so far? Okay. Then, since this is arrivals, it'll also tell you Ausrichtung. So from the direction of. So in English it just says from. So where is it coming from? So if I'm going to go pick somebody up, I don't care where that train's going. I want to know where they came from. And then they'll list the major cities. So Donaueschingen is a city not too far from Rotweil. So there are a fair number of trains that come from that direction. Okay, so I'll tell you where it originates and a bunch of the stops on the way. So maybe I know, that my friend lives in Deislingen, and their train was scheduled to arrive just before 6. So I know the time. I know they're coming from Deislingen. Now I look over here, and I see Gleis, or track. And then I know I can go wait for them at track 4. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? The opposite would be true then on the departures. So then they would tell you where you're going to. Okay? And the departure time that the train leaves. Not necessarily what time it's pulling in. So especially the bigger trains like the ICE. It takes a while to unload all the people with all of their suitcases and everything else. Okay? So they might have a 5-minute time frame where that train is there first before it departs so that you have time to load and unload. Okay? So they also have train numbers. So just like airplanes, you'd have a flight number. Same concept for the train number. In most cases, it doesn't really make a difference. You get on when the time says you're supposed to get on. Okay, but I'll show you a few examples of when it makes sense. Okay, so they have a train number. So that one, for example, is 19610. So it tells you there are a ton of trains. Okay, the bolded letters above it tell you what kind of train it is. Okay, so RE, Regional Express. So that's a regional train. It's going to make a bunch of stops. It's probably going to be pretty loud. There's no reservations. It's just a bunch of bench seats. And you sit down in it. And it's totally fine. Okay, might be a newer one. We never know. Sometimes they have double-deckers for the ones that are, especially during rush hour time frame. But but it tells you it's going to be making a bunch of stops. So it's going to take you longer to get to where you want to go if you're going further away. Okay? So down here we've talked about the ITSA A little bit. That has got to be the only ITSA A that goes for a road file. Road file is a small, small town. Yeah? So usually you have to go through Stuttgart in order to get on an ITSA A, because they only go to the bigger towns. Okay? So normally you'd have to go on Regional Express to get to Stuttgart, and then you'd go from there. Okay? Fragen? Any questions on that so far? I'll show you other pictures of things later soon. So.